tenemos dos instrumentos,
We have two tools,
dos muletas.
two sources of support and strength to help us face the inevitably and permanently uncertain nature of the future.
Inerradicablemente incierto del futuro. Y esas dos instrumentos
The two tools that help us cope with this uncertainty, which arises from our own creative nature, are the following.
son las siguientes.
On the one hand, institutions, and on the other hand, entrepreneurship itself. Allow me to explain both. We will start with the latter, entrepreneurship. We will see over the course of these lessons that human beings tend to achieve the ends they set for themselves. They tend to achieve them. There is no guarantee. Therefore, it is quite clear that one way to cope with the uncertainty of the future is to get our entrepreneurial selves moving in pursuit of an end. If we do this, it is highly probable that we will achieve our goal, thus reducing uncertainty. For if I insist on winning over a certain lady, and I focus all of my energy on that goal, then I will come closer to it. At any rate, I will come closer than if I simply ignored her. Human beings are like directional satellite dishes, and if I direct my entire being, my capacity to create new information, my entrepreneurial ingenuity and alertness in pursuit of an end, I will approach it. What I am telling you is that human beings face the future just as a sailor faces a storm on a black, moonless night. Do you know what it is like to be in a sailboat at night in the middle of a storm? You go through hell. You cannot see a thing. The wind is blowing in all directions. You can hardly tell what is happening. Can you imagine if sailors lacked even a compass? However, if in the middle of that storm, like in the storm that surrounds us as we face the permanently uncertain future, we suddenly see, between the crests of the waves, the faint light of a lighthouse, then in spite of all our troubles, we know where our destination is. We know where we are headed, and we will tend to approach it. That light is a real aid to sailors. And as each of us navigates through life by acting, our primary aid is our own entrepreneurial capacity. We tend to achieve the ends we pursue. Logically, if I am intent on finishing my bachelor's degree and obtaining my master's, I will probably do so, and thus reduce uncertainty. Our own action reduces uncertainty to the extent that we complete and accomplish the stages in our action processes. I want to get married. I look for a girlfriend, I win her affections, and we get married. I have reduced uncertainty. 5 years earlier, I had no idea who was going to be the woman of my life. 5 years later, I am married to her, hopefully. The best way to reduce the uncertainty of the future is to make the future, to build it. There is another source of aid and strength to help us face the permanent uncertainty of the future. We find this source of help in institutions, which constitute another essential element in economics. In this economics course, we are taking a fundamentally institutional approach. We will define institution as any pattern or rule of behavior human beings follow. We will study the emergence of institutions. Institutions emerge spontaneously. The institutions most important to life and society communicate a large quantity of practical knowledge and could not have been devised by any one person or group of people, no matter how wise and good. This is true in all institutional spheres, for example, that of language. Language is vital if we are to cope with the permanent uncertainty of the future. It is vital that I be able to speak and that you understand me in Spanish, in English, or German, or Dutch. Language has spontaneously evolved over the course of many generations of human beings, each of whom has made his or her own small contribution through experiences, feelings, and needs. In fact, languages are living things which continue to evolve as institutions. We also find institutions in the sphere of morality and law. Morality derives from the Latin mos moris, meaning custom or tradition. We learn to adopt behaviors that make life in society possible. And this learning takes place without our being aware of it, nor of its implications. We internalize these behaviors from a young age in the basic cells of society, the family, the community, and religious groups which formalize these behaviors and give meaning to the whole. We know that a handshake is binding, or should be binding. In what sense? In the sense that we must fulfill the promise or contract. In any case, such behaviors have been refined in an evolutionary manner and have taken the shape of legal guidelines, and hence we know what is right and wrong in the sphere of law and morality. And this reduces future uncertainty to a certain extent. For example, I marry someone, marriage for life. Uncertainty is thus reduced, both for him and for her, or at least it has been so until now, because these days, with quick and easy divorce, this is for life, assuming we're still in love, of course, because if love fades, it will obviously make no sense for us to stay married, and we'll just separate. So, while before, uncertainty had been substantially reduced, now it skyrockets. What are the ramifications of this? We will be discussing them. I am concentrating on this topic now in my research on dynamic efficiency and the role of private morality in the sphere of the family, etc., increasing or decreasing uncertainty. The topic has enormous implications in terms of dynamic inefficiency. We will talk more about it in the future. So in theory, when a person gets married, well, these days there is the silly notion of marrying for love. Please, don't any of you marry for love. What a ridiculous notion. That is where the trap lies. I'm marrying because I'm in love. And when love fades, what then? People should not marry for love. Instead, they should fall in love with the person they have decided to marry or should marry. People have got it all backwards. You must not accuse me of being unromantic. No, no. We will talk about this at different times in the course. Do not be so foolish as to marry for love. Love is not the reason to get married. In any case, it is the icing on the cake, the seasoning. This is because, among other reasons, love fades, at least the passionate infatuation of youth. Love changes shape. Imagine a man who marries because he is in love, and then after 2, 3, 4 or 5 years, he is saying, "Hey, I love you a lot. You're the mother of my children, but obviously young women are very attractive. It's not my fault. You have to understand. I have a right to start life over again." We all read hello, so what is the natural thing? He kicks her out of his life. "I'll see you around." There is a quick divorce, and off he goes with a young woman. So, what is happening here? Where before there was a reduction in uncertainty thanks to the institution of lifelong marriage, now there is a dramatic increase in uncertainty. And we see that human beings, who are weaker without that support, are thwarted in many of their actions, and the result is systemic dynamic inefficiency throughout the entire social process. I am explaining to you the most abstract truths of economic and social theory, in small doses and from the beginning, but we will gradually spell them out throughout the course. There is another approach. I could say, I will never be sure marriage will work out. For what I am telling you about marriage is also valid for a business enterprise. But what if she is a woman of principle, a very religious woman, who believes she will go to hell for all eternity if she leaves, and the man believes the same of himself? Then the worries tend to dissipate. They can both be more confident about taking a leap of faith, because the level of uncertainty drops. We will see that societies in which people have strong principles and reduce uncertainty are societies that prosper, because they are dynamically efficient, while societies which thwart or destroy their intentions, the second source of support that enables us to face the permanent uncertainty of the future, are societies which disintegrate. They are dynamically inefficient societies. I am speaking strictly in terms of economic theory and the scientific analysis of the processes of social cooperation. I am not speaking in religious terms. I would like you to see how patterned behaviors, whether in the sphere of language, or of law, or of morality, or of economics, money is the quintessential social institution. You might ask, "Professor, how can money be the quintessential social institution? Shouldn't it be morality, or law, or language?" No, it is money. Money comes first. It makes possible an exponential increase in exchanges between people, and these exchanges give rise to everything else. The rest of the institutions evolve. And that will be all until Christmas.
Hasta Navidad.